This is going to be a full lecture video covering dividing polynomial functions here, also going over the remainder theorem and the factor theorem, and solving some problems based off of that. So first off, we're going to talk about how do we solve a polynomial by a polynomial here, specifically using synthetic division. So we are going to use synthetic division for each one of these problems. So let's talk about the setup of synthetic division. First off, your divisor, what you are dividing by, right, has to be in the following format here, an x plus or minus a c. All right, so it has to be in this setup here. So we're not dividing by something like 2x minus 5 or like x squared minus 4 or something like that, right? So we have our x plus or minus a number is what we're dividing by here. So the way that we set up synthetic division here, so think of your divisor here, the x plus 2. So think of it this way. If our denominator is x plus 2, what is x actually equal to? What number would we be dividing by here? All right, so think of it this way. So if we take x plus 2, right, as a factor, what we would want to do is we would want to set this equal to 0 to actually solve for what x is, which means we would want to subtract 2 on each side to get x is equal to a negative 2. So the value of x is actually a negative 2, and it's a negative 2 that we're actually going to use for synthetic division to divide. So the way that's going to work, right, this is x plus 2, so we should know minus 2. So kind of just think opposite sign of this, right, with this number, minus 2. This would also be a minus 2. This here would be a positive 3 that we would divide by. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that minus 2 and we're going to put it in a box over here to the corner to the left. We're going to take our numerator here and we're going to write down the coefficients right over here. So we have 5 is the coefficient of x cubed. Notice we do not have an x squared. And if we do not have an x squared, that's like saying that we have a 0x squared there. And we can't forget that place value here. If our polynomial is cubic, that means we need to have a value for cubed. We need to have a value for squared, which is going to be 0. Then we need to have a value for x to the first, which we have a 6. And then your constant, which is an 8. All right. So again, all of our coefficients. Put a line underneath that there. And the way that we divide is this. Drop down the first number outside the box. So just drop it straight down. That is a 5. What we're going to do is we're going to take that and multiply it times our divisor here. So 5 times negative 2 is a negative 10. Put that in the column to the right. Once we put that in the column to the right, what we're going to do is we're going to add that column. 0 plus negative 10 or 0 minus 10 is just a minus 10. Multiply again. Now we're going to take the negative 10, multiply it times the negative 2. That's going to give us a 20. So we're going to put that in the column to the right. Add that column. 6 plus 20 is a 26. Multiply again. 26 times negative 2 is a negative 52. And when we add that column there, we get a negative 44. Now, our solution for this. So if we take a cubic, all right, something x cubed, and divide it by something x. So think x cubed divided by x is what we're doing here. Well, x cubed divided by x is an x squared. All right, so when we do this division, our solution is going to be a quadratic function. So these numbers represent the coefficients of that quadratic. Also, an important thing to remember is I tend to always mark off the rightmost column over here. The rightmost column, specifically the number here in the bottom right corner, that is going to be our remainder here. So what our solution looks, this is going to look like a quadratic equation here. So that's going to look like 5 is going to be the coefficient for our x squared. Minus 10 is going to be the coefficient for x. A positive 26 is going to be our constant. And then the way that we write our solution, right, think of this as your quotient plus your remainder, right? So our remainder is, well, it's minus. So I guess I would really want to do a minus our 44 over the divisor, which is an x plus 2. So this is what your solution would look like. 5x squared minus 10x plus 26 minus 44 over your remainder. All right, so let's try that again. All right, so let's try example B here. If our denominator is x plus 2, again, if you take x plus 2, set it equal to 0 and solve, x is actually a negative 2. Put negative 2 in the box to the left, drop down your coefficients. 1 for x cubed. There is no x squared, so that would be a 0x squared. Negative 7 for x, negative 6 for our constant. Put a line underneath and drop down your first number here. Multiply and add. All right, 1 times negative 2 is a negative 2. Put that in the column to the right and add. When we add that column, we get a negative 2. Multiply again. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. And put that in the column to the right and add. We get a negative 3. Multiply again. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6. And when we add that column, we get a 0. Let's go ahead and mark off that rightmost column. That means we have a 0 as a remainder. What we're going to find out here in a little bit with one of our theorems is that when we do have a 0 as a remainder, that means that the number that we just tested here is a solution to our numerator function here. So if we had to solve this equation here, negative 2 would be a solution here. So what our numbers here mean, again, our polynomial was cubic, and we divided that by an x to the first. So that means our solution is going to be x squared. That means it's going to look like 1x squared minus 2x minus 3, and there is no remainder, so that actually is our solution here. Let's try that one more time. So if our denominator is x minus 3, the number we are testing is a positive 3. Dropping down your coefficients, 1 for x to the 5th, 4 for x to the 4th, negative 3, oh, actually, I'm sorry, we don't have an x cubed, so that is actually going to be 0 for x cubed, negative 3 for x squared, 2 for x to the first, and then 3 for our constant. So let's go ahead and drop down our first number and divide. 1 times 3 is a 3. When we put that on the right and add, we get a 7. 7 times 3 is 21, and when we add that column, we get a 21. 21 times 3 is a 63, and when we add that column, we get a 60. 60 times 3 is 180, and when we add that column, we get a 182. 182 times 3 is 546, and when we add that column, we're going to be left with 549. So keep in mind that is going to be our remainder. So since our polynomial was x to the 5th, our solution is going to be x to the 4th. Starting with the 1, that is a 1x to the 4th, plus a 7x cubed, plus a 21x squared, plus a 60x, plus 182, plus our remainder over our divisor as our entire solution here. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the remainder theorem. So one other thing that we can use synthetic division for that this is saying, the remainder theorem is saying that if we divide f of x by x minus c, then the remainder is the same thing we would get if we were to plug in c into the function. So, for example here, if we have f of x is equal to the following polynomial, it wants us to use the remainder theorem to find f of 2. Now, when we find f of 2, again, keep in mind, f of 2 is just asking us to plug in 2 into x and simplify and get a value for that. Now, we can definitely do that to solve this problem because that's all it wants us to do here is find f of 2. So we could take 2, plug it in for x, simplify here, get our solution. That's what this is going to be. But we can also use synthetic division to do the same thing. So what we can do is we can take the 2 here that it wants us to do, write down the coefficients of the polynomial, 1 for x cubed, negative 4 for x squared, a 5, and a 3, and divide, right? 1 times 2 is a 2. When we add that column, we get a negative 2. When we multiply, negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4, and when we add, we get a 1. 1 times 2 is a 2, and when we add, we get a 5. The remainder theorem is saying that what we get as our remainder would be the same thing as when we evaluate that same number. So f of 2 is a 5. All right, so you can plug it into the equation or you can do synthetic division. You should get the same solution for it. Now let's talk about the factor theorem. So the factor theorem is widely used in solving polynomial functions here. The factor theorem says that if we test a value c and we get a 0 as our remainder for it, like we did in this example here, we tested -2, we got a 0 in the remainder spot over here. That means that the number that we tested is a solution to this equation here. So that's what this theorem is telling us here. So we're going to use that factor theorem in order to solve the following problem here that says, solve the following equation given that 3 is a 0 of f of x. So it wants to solve this cubic equation here. Now, we can't really solve this by factoring or anything like that, but they did tell us that 3 is a solution, right? So we know x equals 3 is one of our solutions to this problem here. So what we can do is we can actually use the factor theorem along with synthetic division in order to use that value of a 3, right? Because if we divide by that 3, what it's going to do is, keep in mind, anytime we use synthetic division to divide, if we divide x cubed by an x, our solution is going to be a quadratic. It's going to be x squared. And there's many, many ways to solve a quadratic equation. Not as many techniques for solving anything that's higher, right? 3 or over. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide by this 3. And when we divide by this 3, we should get a 0 in our remainder column. And it should give us a quadratic equation that then we can then solve either by factoring or throw it in the quadratic formula. So let's go ahead and get that equation first. So it told us that 3 is a solution, but we need to test it and do synthetic division here. So let's drop down our coefficients. 2 for x cubed, -3 for x squared, -11, and a 6. Dropping down the 2, let's divide. So multiply and add, multiply and add. 2 times 3 is a 6. When we add, we get a 3. When we multiply, 3 times 3 is a 9. When we add, we get a -2. When we multiply, -2 times 3 is a -6. And when we add there, we do get a 0. That means, yes, most definitely 3 is a solution. But that also tells us that we have our quadratic equation right over here. 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Let's see if we can solve this. Well, first off, let's always check to see if it can factor. If your quadratic equation can factor, we definitely want to do that. If not, throw it in the quadratic formula. So I use no-fuss factoring for factoring trinomials here. So again, if you need a refresher on that, I have many videos over no-fuss factoring. Otherwise, 4 steps. Take your first term, repeat it twice. 2x and 2x. Multiply the first number times the last number. 2 times 2 is a 4. Find factors of 4. And we want factors of 4 that are going to add or subtract to get our middle term, which is a 3. That's going to be our 1 and our 4. Looking at our signs, we know that they have to have different signs. Keep in mind, whatever sign the middle term has, it must go with the bigger number out of the 2. So that means it needs to have a plus here with the 4. And since we had to have different signs, we're putting a minus with the 1. The last step in no-fuss is to reduce one or both of your factors. There is nothing in common with the 2 and a 1, but over here we do have something in common with the 2 and a 4. We can reduce that by a factor of 2. And when we do that, the 2's cancel to give us x, plus 4 over 2 is a 2. Drop down the other factor. We did not need to simplify that. After this, it's just a matter of taking your factors, splitting them up, setting them each equal to 0, and solving here. So add the 1 on each side, divide by the 2 to get that x is a 1/2 as your first solution. Subtract the 2 on either side, and x is a -2. Also remember that 3 was one of your solutions here, so all 3 of these values would be your solution to this equation. Let's do that one more time. So we're going to solve the following polynomial equation, given that 2 is a 0. If you want to challenge yourself, maybe pause the video, try and solve this, go through the process, see if you can get to the end or how far into the problem you can get. Then start the problem and go along with me and check yourself. Otherwise, moving right along, so it's telling us that 2 is a solution. So we're going to do synthetic division with 2. Let's drop down our coefficients. So that's going to be a 2, -5, 1, and a 2 there. Dropping down the 2. 2 times 2 is a 4. When we add, we get a -1. When we multiply, we get a -2. When we add, we get a -1. And when we multiply, we get a -2. When we add that last column, we do get a 0. So that does mean that x does equal 2 for sure, right? Our coefficients for our quadratic, 2x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. So let's see if this one factors here. So let's see, repeat the first term twice. 2x, 2x. First number times last number, 2 times 1 is a 2. And the only factors of 2 are a 1 and a 2. And they do subtract to get a 1 here. So I'm going to put in the 1, I'm going to put in the 2. We have to have different signs. The minus needs to go with the 2. The plus needs to go with a 1 here. Reduce one or both of your factors. The first one does not reduce, so we can drop that down. The second one does reduce by a power of a 2, which is going to leave us with an x minus 1. Split your factors, set them each equal to 0, and solve. Subtract the 1, divide by the 2, and x is going to equal to a -1/2 there. Adding the 1 to the other side, x is going to equal to a 1. And again, remember that x also equal to 2 there.